ESXi server. Once we create a virtual machine, so how it acts as a virtual computer. So in the ESXi machine local hard disk, in the hard disk location where we have taken the hard disk from the ESXi machine, so it will create a similar folder with the same name, exactly same name how we created here. Let's say VM45. The folder also will be VM45. A folder will be created with same name and files like .vmx virtual machine configuration file, which is exactly equivalent to a physical motherboard physical computer's motherboard. Okay, .vmdk is a virtual machine hard disk file which will have the descriptor information. So basically the index information in our textbook, indexing information. Okay, that flat.vmdk is the actual hard disk. Our actual data will be placed inside that hard disk. .nvram will have the boot operations of a computer. If you power on a computer, how it powers on and what are all the instructions that will pass on to until you see the desktop, the computer's desktop on your until you get the screen. Whatever the instructions that are required to boot up a computer will be there inside this nvram file. Okay, then .vswp, it's a swap file. There is another topic in the advanced topics we will discuss about this .vswp. It is a virtual machine, virtual memory page file. Okay, when there is no enough physical memory to work that virtual machine properly, so it will use this virtual memory. And vmware.log is the log file. The every communication, each and every instruction that is passing from ESXi machine to the virtual machine will be stored in this file. All the instructions which are passing from that ESXi host to the virtual machine commands will be stored inside this vmware.log file. vmname.vmsd snapshot descriptor file. So this is again a different feature. During advanced topic we will discuss. So once we create a virtual machine here, an ESXi machine, a same name for a folder with same name will be created inside the ESXi hard disk, and it will have all these files automatically generated inside that file folder. So all these files together plus RAM and CPU from the ESXi machine, we will assign it to the virtual machine. All together makes a virtual computer. Now this computer is equivalent to exactly a physical server or physical computer with whatever the specifications that we have provided, RAM, CPU and hard disk. Whatever the RAM that we have assigned, like 4 GB or 8 GB, whatever it is, exactly works like a physical computer with that much specifications. Okay, now we understood how a virtual computer is generated. But now we will see how many ways can we create in real time. If customer, like if application team or project manager is coming to you and ask you to build a VM, he will give you this information. He will give you the name of the VM. Let's say test VM 90, something like name of the machine. What OS you need? Windows Server 2012, data center version, RAM 2 GB, CPU 2 CPUs, hard disk. He will sometimes clearly they will give you C:40 GB and D:100 GB, like this. They will give. Sometimes they will give network also. What the which network they want. We want to connect the virtual machine to the specific network. They will give. Otherwise, we will choose the appropriate network. Okay, he will give something like. Yes. He will give you this much information to build a virtual computer. This much information is enough for us to create a virtual computer. Now we will see how to create a virtual computer. How many ways are available? Class లో ఉండండి. These many ways are available to create a virtual computer, but we will see in real time if someone asks you to create a VM with that specification, which method we will prefer. Okay, how to build a virtual machine in each of the method. Now we will discuss now. Okay, so first method, creating a first virtual computer or first virtual machine on an ESXi machine. So connect to the ESXi machine directly or via vCenter. Select ESXi machine R/C. Right click on your mouse. Select that particular object. Once you connect to the vCenter, select that particular object, ESXi object. Right click on it, and with your mouse, just right click. Okay. Say new virtual machine. Enter a name for that virtual machine. Select compatibility. So like 6.5 compatibility or 5.5 compatibility, that version we have to select. Select OS family, Windows or Linux, and select OS. What OS you need to install? We are not installing OS here. We are preparing this virtual computer or virtual machine to install that specific OS. So that respective hardware components, virtual hardware, will be selected automatically. So then select hard disk location to store. Then select RAM, CPU, hard disk, and network also you can select here. So once you navigate using this path, you will be able to create one first virtual computer directly on any ESXi machine, but it will not have any operating system. Okay. It's like ESXi machine. And a VM will be created like this. Even if you power on, there will be no OS. And this will be final. I will not be repeating again. VM. Okay. And virtual machine will be created. Once it is created, we need to install operating system as well. So first VM is created. I'm repeating because many others joined late. That's why I'm continuing. So from tomorrow onwards, it will be cloning. So we will meet the people who attended earlier as well. The topic where they have attended, we will reach there. So second, we have to install OS. OS is not yet installed. If you power on this computer, it will be still blank on the console. We need to install operating system. So now how many OS and ways are available to install OS? One is using a physical CD/DVD. Okay. So normally to install an operating system on a physical computer, laptop or desktop. Okay. So we need we'll take basically a USB pen drive or a physical CD/DVD. Okay, this is a physical DVD, and it will have the operating system, whatever the operating system that was copied in it. Windows 2012, 16, Linux, whatever it is. So with this DVD, if you go and insert on a laptop CD DVD drive and then power on, the OS installation will start from this physical CD DVD to the physical laptop or desktop. Okay. So because we need to install OS, the OS is not yet installed. But this is a virtual computer. If it is a physical computer, we will take a physical CD DVD and go on insert the physical CD DVD, then install OS. Okay. So as it is a virtual computer, we will not have that physical hardware. Okay, so physical CD DVD. We have a physical CD DVD and we need to install OS inside this virtual machine. So, but this virtual machine has everything virtual hardware. Okay, so but we have a physical DVD. We cannot directly insert physical CD DVD to a virtual CD DVD on a virtual machine. But this is the physical computer, the ESXi machine. It will have physical CD DVD ROM here. Okay, so now we will insert this physical CD DVD inside this ESXi CD DVD ROM. Once you insert this physical CD DVD ROM, we can connect to the virtual machine, virtual CD DVD ROM. Okay, so physical CD DVD, if you insert into the ESXi physical CD DVD ROM and attach it to the virtual machine, virtual CD DVD. So for that option, we have to go virtual machine settings. Select CD DVD. This is virtual CD DVD ROM. Edit. Select host device. Say OK. Select host device. Click on OK. So that physical CD DVD ROM will be attached to the virtual CD DVD of the virtual machine. Once you power on, this OS installation will start from this physical CD to this virtual computer. Whatever the OS that we have attached, it will be installed inside. So just once you power on, it will not automatically install. We have to take this virtual computer console and just follow the on-screen instructions like accept license, select next, enter password. Okay, so settings we have to follow on screen. It's almost like yes or no kind of questions. We can, even if you're doing it for the first time, you can when you read that instruction on the screen, you will be able to select the appropriate option. It's like yes or no. If you press yes, it will proceed. If you say like cancel, it will stop there only. So we always wanted to proceed. We always select continuation options, like continue, next, or yes options. Okay, OS will be installed. But this is not feasible option. It's not possible to install. Place the physical CD DVD on a ESXi machine. Always. Like if you want machine, it will be, let's say the physical server will be in the remote location. Okay, wherever our client location is, where data center is located, it will be there. If we ask to go and insert, the one person will go and insert at one time at least. If you have another ESXi machine, if you create one more virtual computer here, now if you want to install OS on this computer, we have to request that person to go and insert the CD again. It's not feasible option again. So that's why we will use another option called ISO option. Second one, install using an ISO image. Okay. So in the same physical CD DVD content, whatever that is there inside this physical CD DVD will be copy pasted in an ISO image. Extension will be .iso. It will have the same contents of the physical CD DVD. The installable operating system files will be there. Extension will be .iso. Now it is easy to copy paste this ISO image wherever we want. So every ESXi machine will have local hard disk. Local hard disk. So if you want to install here, copy that file here. You don't need to ask anyone. Just copy that file. And if you want to install here, just copy that file here. Now from here, we can attach this ISO image to the virtual machine. You don't need to disturb the person in the data center. You don't need to request him again and again. Okay, wherever you want, you can copy paste this image. Now this image, it is in the ESXi local hard disk. We can just attach it to the virtual machine. So how to attach options we should know. VM, edit settings, select CD/DVD, browse, select data store ISO. Already selected, just give one. Okay. Once you say OK, this ISO image from the local hard disk will be attached to the VM. Now if you power on this virtual machine, the same way, however, we install an operating system using the first option, now we will be able to install from this ISO file. ISO will have an installable operating system content. Fine. Any questions as of now? If you install operating system, that machine will be ready now to use. Any questions? Fine. But if you follow this method, it will take around 30 to 40 minutes to create a virtual machine. On an average, it was considered as 1 hour. But if I ask you to create some 20 computers like this, 20 virtual machines like this, it will take 20 hours, almost 3 business days. 3 days continuously you'll be doing. Even if you do parallelly, at least one day, one and a half day, you will be doing the same way again and again. Create a virtual machine, attach the ISO image, and then just power on, install the OS. Okay, it will be like this. You'll be doing again and again. Now, to avoid that, the time to create virtual computers, to reduce the create to virtual computers, they have a technique called cloning. This is the first option. Second option, we'll see now. Second option, very important. Even interview point of view, they will be asking. Now we have created a virtual machine. Let's say with these specifications, we have a virtual machine with Windows Server 2016 OS. Let's say 4 GB RAM, 2 CPU, and C:40 GB. If you need 20 computers like this, we can just, this is just a software file. It will have all .vmx, vmdk, all the files like that only. Virtual machine files like .vmx, .vmdk, .nvram, files like this. These are all software files. Okay, we can just copy paste these files and we create another virtual machine. Something like you have downloaded one new movie. It took some 3 hours to download with the internet speed that you have. Okay, and if your friend is nearby, if you want another copy of that virtual that movie, he will not download it again. You'll just copy from you with a pen drive, right? That's easy option. That's why here also these files are also similar to like that. Okay, we just copy paste these virtual files .vmx, vmdk, we just copy paste and another virtual machine will be created. When you're just copy pasting like this, we get all these files copied to the another location. Copy, just source also will be there. When you copy these files, new files also will be available. So new files are available here. This, when all these files are available, these files also makes a computer, right? So the virtual machine is ready now. We have got another computer with the same specification, same OS, RAM, CPU, and hard disk. Okay, so once the cloning is completed, they are completely different, two different machines. There is no relation between two machines. Before cloning, whatever the data that you placed, it will be copy pasted to the clone machine as well. But once cloning is completed, they are completely two different machines. Whatever you paste the data now on the source, it will be there only. Let's say if you copy now some 5 GB of data, it will be here only. It will not copy to this clone machine. Once cloning is completed, they are completely two different machines. Even if you copy some 10 GB of data, it will not copy back also, because there is no relation after that. But before cloning, if whatever the data that was there, it will be copy pasted here as well. Before cloning, there was 5 GB of data is there. If you clone this computer, that 5 GB also will be copy pasted. The disadvantage is something like here already there is some, let's say, SQL database is installed. But when someone is asking you to create a virtual machine, if you clone this machine, that SQL database also will be carried here. SQL also will be copied to this machine. But here this machine, customer want to use it for something else. Some you wanted to play some website or some other application you want to install. But this machine has been shipped with SQL also. It is unnecessary work again. Again, we have to uninstall this SQL. Otherwise, it will simply occupy the memory and CPU when VM is running. Okay, so we have to uninstall this application. That's unnecessary thing. Okay, so unnecessary cleanup we have to do. That's the disadvantage. If there is any unnecessary data on the source, that also will be copy pasted. We cannot avoid that. Okay, but if it has only plain OS without any specific applications, yes, we can do cloning. Now, if someone has asked you to clone, you can simply clone this virtual machine. But we don't know. If you just see a virtual machine inside the vCenter, we cannot identify what is running inside it. We don't know whether anything is installed or not. That's on the drawback here. Okay, so clone is exactly making a duplicate. So there are two types of clones: hard clone, cloning a powered on virtual machine. When a source VM is in powered on state, on and running, some applications are running, maybe nothing is there, just OS is powered on and left like that, we can clone. It's called hot clone. Some other thing is called cold clone. Cloning a powered off virtual machine. If the source VM is in power off state for some reason, and you are making a duplicate of it, of just virtual computer, it's called cold clone. Hot and clone. So remember, even interview many times they will ask what is hot migration and what is cold migration. Okay, what is hot clone and what is cold clone. Hot mean always in powered on state. In power on condition, if you do whatever the task on the source computer, it's called cold, hot. If it is powered off state, cold. Hot migration, migrating a VM in power on condition. Cold migration, moving a VM in power off condition. Clone also the same. Hot means the VM is powered on and running. There is no difference. If it is powered on, it will take 5 minutes extra than cold cloning, because cold cloning nothing is running, as it is everything is stable. Okay, we just copy paste. It will be quickly copied. If it is powered on, some read and write operations will be happening on this disk. This disk will be in use. It will be busy. You are trying to copy paste and it is busily running with some application. So it takes some time to complete the clone. So that's why it will take some 5 to 10 minutes extra than normal VM. Okay, so then cold clone. That's the only difference. There will be no performance impact. If some application is running, if you are cloning in the backend, there will be no performance impact on the source machine. Can do at any point of time. You don't need to stop just for cloning. Okay. Fine, clear. So now we'll see how to clone it. Select a virtual machine, right click on it, clone, enter a new name for the clone machine, select ESXi machine where you want to place it, select hard disk location. Here customization we have to select. This is optional, you can do here or later also. We'll see what is customization. Now just right click on the virtual machine, clone, enter the new name for the clone machine. So existing machine is VM45. With the same name we cannot clone again, so it will be something different. Okay, give the new name here, or else you can give like this also, underscore clone also, VM45 underscore clone. You can understand that this was cloned from 45. Otherwise if you give different name, VM46, nobody knows which one is cloned, which is the original VM, until unless the person who cloned it is aware of it. After cloning, it is not possible to identify from where this machine has been cloned. There will be no clue at all. Okay, because they are completely two separate machines after cloning. Okay, so for any machine, if you clone this machine, everything as it is on the source will be exactly copy pasted. But there are some parameters should not be same for any two devices in a network. Computer name, IP address, SID, like that. So in a network, in a computer's network, like let maybe there are 5 computers connected together, or maybe 1 lakh computers connected together, whatever it may be. Okay, in a network. Okay, so any two computers should not be having same name. We should change the name of the computer when you are creating a second VM or cloned VM also. So when you clone here, this VM also will get same name. Let's say inside operating system, it had 45, but once you clone, it will have VM45 also. But this should not be same like this. In a network, in one network, any two devices should not be having same name. We have to change this name. So we have to change that name and IP address. IP address is something like mobile number. If you consider India is one network, okay, India throughout India from is a one single network. There are multiple vendors like Jio, Airtel, VI, multiple networks are there. Even though there are multiple vendors in a same network, any two guys will not have same mobile number, at least in India. No one will have same mobile number again. If two guys have same mobile number, we know what will happen, right? It's a similar example. As of now, just remember IP address is for a machine, which is equivalent to mobile number for a human. Why we use to communicate to that respective person. Here also, any virtual computer or physical computer or printer, whatever it may be, it should have an IP address to communicate together. Okay, IP address is equivalent to mobile number of a person. For a person, it's mobile number. For a device in a network, it need an IP address. It should not be same for any two devices. And if it is there, same IP address, we know what will happen. Okay, it's miscommunication. SID, it's called security identifier. Security identifier. It's a purely Windows topic. If someone is aware of Windows Active Directory, they know what is a SID. So even though we have a unique mobile number, unique bank account number, every person has a unique address. Okay, they have again one more private or a unique number called Aadhaar number, right? We know what Aadhaar information contains. Even though we have valid mobile number, unique number only, unique bank account only, but there is an Aadhaar number. Okay, it contains lot of other your personal information. Okay, so all the information is connected together, tied with a particular unique number. Based on that number, we can retrieve whatever the data that belongs to you. The same way in a network, in a Windows Active Directory, there is a component called SID, Security Identifier. Okay, Security Identifier, which should be unique number in a network, which should not be same for any two devices in a network. But once you do a cloning, okay, once you do cloning from an existing machine, it will copy the same name, same IP address, and same SID, same security identifier. It will copy paste. Okay, so but these three values should be changed after cloning. We should change these three values on a cloned machine. Changing of all these three values is called customization. Changing of the name, changing of IP address, change of SID, security identifier. Okay, fine. Any question here?
Sir, we will copy along with without OS.
Yeah, along with OS also. OS will be inside that VMDK. When you are cloning, that VMDK is copy pasting everything. So OS also will be copied. So we don't need to install OS again because it copies everything as it is. OS, data, if you have installed any application, everything will be copy pasted. That's where it will reduce the time to install OS here. So here maximum, it will be completed within 30 minutes. A machine will be ready within 30 minutes. Compared to the first method, it was on an average, it was 1 hour. Now it is reduced to 30 minutes. Okay, so we can reduce the time to build VMs in half of the time compared to first method. Yeah, sorry, what was the other question?
After cloning, can we change the OS?
Yeah, we can change, but what is the use of clone then? We are creating cloning because to time to reduce the create a virtual computer. If you clone, let's say it is happened in 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. If you change, if you want another OS, a different OS here, you can change, but that takes extra time again. It's possible to change, but it will take again 20 to 30 minutes. It will become 1 hour again. Instead of that, you can create a fresh copy only, right?
Okay, only applications you can remove after cloning?
Yeah, if you want to remove, you can remove, but that is also unnecessary thing only. That will also take some time, right? It's not as quick as we expect. That's what the drawback. If there is any data, if you clone it, that will be a drawback. But some case, like on weekends, if it is a very critical application, basically they will be applying patches or some critical changes inside that application. If they feel that it's not safe to apply, we don't know whether how it behaves after applying the changes. They create a clone of it, exactly copy paste without customization. Everything as it is, we will copy paste, and there is an application version, something like this, application version 2. Now they are upgrading to version 3. During this upgrade process, version 2 to version 3 application upgrade process, if something goes bad, still we have the safe application. It also copied with application version 2, right? Cloned with application version. We have another copy available. Even if it fails for some reason, if it is not usable, then we can use this machine as it is. Basically, clone will be preferred for the kinds of like these situations. But yes, as you said, like can we change applications after upgrade? Yes, it's possible, but unnecessary time waste. Any other questions?
See, after cloning, if we forget to change our change the name and all the things,
okay,
whatever you are telling these three things,
yeah,
then what will happen?
Conflict. Like, definitely. So let's say there is a website running, application version 3 is running, okay, and let's say it's a website only. Okay, when website is running from here, if you clone a machine and if you directly copy, this machine also will have same IP address where the website is bounded. Now website will not work. When you connect, sometimes it will not connect. Because when somebody is trying to connect to the website, the request will go either way, both way. Sometimes will respond, sometimes due to IP conflict, it will not connect also. you will face intermittent connection to that application, whatever the application that may be. Understood?
Only
Let's say
that
you want to, sorry.
Any other problem?
Yeah, something like you want to shut down this computer, you are using this IP address and you are trying to connect. So the connection if comes from here, because this machine also has same IP address, same network address. We will discuss about this network address. What is this? Don't worry about this. Let's say 1.10. So now you want to connect this machine. So from the network, both are connected in the same network. Let's say you want to shut down this machine. Then you try to enter that IP address and try to connect. We don't know from where its session took. Unfortunately, the session came from here. If you shut down, this machine will shut down. This machine will be still available. That should not happen like this, right? That's dangerous. Stopping another machine instead of another machine. So application also will not function properly. Okay, any other question? Okay. If not, then we will continue tomorrow with template.
Sir,
Yes, please.
కోర్స్ ఫీజ్ గురించి రిలేటెడ్ ఏదైనా క్వైరీస్ ఉంటే నెంబర్ చెప్తారా సార్ అడగడానికి?
Yes, you can always talk to me.
ఓకే.
Any other technical questions or anything about resume or any other technical documentation, you can always WhatsApp me here.
ఓకే సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Yeah.